If you've ever designed your first printed circuit board, chances are you've made at least one of these mistakes. The good news is that these mistakes usually don't happen because you aren't smart enough or something. They happen because nobody explained the physics behind these mistakes. So today, let's fix that. So mistake number 1, thinking traces are just wires. Most beginners treat PCB traces like the little pieces of copper that simply connect point A to point B. And while they are far more than that. What traces are really doing is they are guiding electromagnetic energy. This means every trace has electrical properties. That includes resistance, capacitance, inductance, characteristic impedance, instantaneous impedance. That's why changing the width or length of a trace can completely change how a circuit behaves. When you are moving your traces around, you are literally reshaping electromagnetic waves and fields. So that's number 1. Mistake number 2 is ignoring the return path. People say current always completes a loop. I like to think of it as electromagnetic wave always has a primary side and a secondary side happening at the same time. For high-speed signals especially, the return current, or what we call the return current, is the electromagnetic wave wanting to flow in the path underneath a high-speed trace next to the nearest reference plane, because the field is always seeking the nearest low-impedance reference plane. If that return path gets interrupted by, say, a split plane or poor stack-up or careless routing, the electromagnetic fields have to spread out. That increases loop area. Larger loop area means more inductance. More inductance means more noise, worse signal integrity, and more electromagnetic interference, or EMI. That's why it's possible to pass DRC but fail EMI testing, which I've experienced a number of times. Now, people often call it return current. I'd like to introduce a new term called field closure path. The reason's because it's field focused, because that's what's doing the work, all right? So understanding the field closure path and how that field returns or interacts with the structures is the most important thing in PCB design and, in my opinion, all of electrical engineering. Mistake number 3. Designing something that can't be manufactured. Even if your circuit works correctly, someone still has to build it. Every PCB manufacturer has its limits and its tolerances. I'm talking about minimum trace width, minimum spacing, minimum hole size, copper clearances, annular ring. If your design violates these limits, the board may cost significantly more money. I've done this before. Or it may not be manufacturable at all. That's also happened. All right. Professional PCB design is always a balance between physics and manufacturing, and the best engineers design for both from the very beginning. This is one reason professional PCB software is so valuable. This video is sponsored by Altium. Instead of manually checking hundreds or even thousands of design decisions, Altium allows you to define engineering and manufacturing rules once. As you design, these rules are checked continuously so potential problems can be found before the board ever reaches fabrication. That means you're spending less time hunting for mistakes and more time designing great hardware. If you'd like access to Altium, click the link in the description below. The important lesson is this. Great PCB designers don't memorize thousands of rules. They understand the physics behind those rules. Once the physics make sense, the rules stop feeling arbitrary. And once the rules are built into your design software, you can focus on solving engineering problems instead of remembering every manufacturing limit or the next best practice. In the next episode, I'll dive into one of the most misunderstood concepts in electronics. Why ground isn't actually 0 volts. Thanks for watching.